Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show podcast, the podcast show where we unlock potential one dream at a time. Today, we have another guest whose journey is truly worth hearing. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Moneyway experience.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show, powered by Bleav Network, where we uncover the real stories behind success, resilience, and purpose. I'm your host, CJ Moneyway, and today's guests have lived a journey that's as inspiring as it is raw. Dan is an adoptee, immigrant, entrepreneur, and the founder of Social Tables, an event software company. He grew into a leader in the hospitality industry before selling it for a 9-figure deal. I'm going to let him come on the show and tell you what he did. Hey, what's up, D, man? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
What's going on? Thank you for having me. I got to say, when you rolled into that, like you introduced the podcast, I felt like I was in the studio. You made it feel real. That was amazing.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, D, man. And I don't take that with a grain of salt either, man, because my man from the Bronx, and we know that they get boogie down out there, man. So,
right. By the way, there was a track. If it wasn't for the Bronx, it wouldn't be going on. I think something like that. So that still plays in my head. Clearly, I don't remember the lyrics, but it's all about the boogie down Bronx.
And so we both found our love for the Yankees, but my man living it true and blue. What you say, man? Oakley had a car wash wrap down the street from your house and everything. So my man been out there in the trenches, man. So D, man, let me ask you first, man. Let's start with your book, man. The Quest, the definitive guide to finding belonging.
Yeah. So for me, I always didn't feel like I belonged. I think a lot of people who've been in my shoes feel the same way. Hell, I think a lot of Americans feel that same way. They look around, they see their neighborhood changing, they see the presidency. There's just like so much going on. And we start asking ourselves, where do we belong? And for me, that was a very primordial question because I was adopted. So from the moment my biological mom decided I'm going to give this kid up for adoption, she was communicating to me through her hormones and through her, through her emotions when I was still in the womb, you don't belong here. So for me, belonging was always an issue. And it got confounded when I moved to the United States as an immigrant when I was 9 and didn't speak a word of English. So I've been searching for belonging ever since those very, very early days.
Man, that's deep, man. Let me ask you, how many chapters of this book is that, man? How many chapters do you got? Because I know you can go a long way with that.
I think I got like 39,000 words. Wait, are you drinking Pepsi there, CJ?
You want me to promote them?
Wow. You're not a Coca-Cola guy. What's happening?
Man, I don't discriminate, man. I drink Coke, I drink Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Hey, I don't Dr. Pepper. I don't discriminate.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do. I do Coca-Cola. That's my vice. That's my vice.
Okay, man. Okay.
So, yeah, my book is like roughly 40,000 words, which is about 12, 13. I have a bonus chapter, so 13 chapters. And like, it's no bullshit. Like, it's very matter of fact. Like, most people only sell less than 1,000 books. So I didn't make this to get rich. I mean, it cost me, I paid to get it published. It was one of those deals. And I think I've sold right around 1,000. My goal is to get my book out in front of people so they understand how to find belonging. Because it's not like, oh, poor little old me, I didn't have belonging. It's more like, oh, this is what I did in order to get over my belonging traumas. So my book is very well cited. I have 120 works in my bibliography. And it's a very scientific, but very approachable way to find belonging. I'll give you a very small example. I talk about what I call the belonging tank. And it's just a fuel tank. And I ask people, what's in your fuel tank? What do you get belonging? And belonging is, where do you feel a sense of fit and where you feel respected and accepted? And people start saying, well, my family, my homies from college, they say my best friend, they say the people I play bridge with, they say walking in nature. And then I'm like, okay, well, how much is empty in that tank? Like 20%. I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out what to do with that 20%. And by the way, let's review the 80%. So that's the belong. I just give very specific examples that are scientific in order for people to figure out where they could find their sense of belonging.
Man, I know that had to be deep, man. So let me ask you, because you brought this up, being adopted and everything. And you've been open about being adopted and an immigrant. How did those experiences shape your early sense as you were talking about of belonging or not belonging? You know, like give us an example, like when you was in school, in elementary school, what made you feel like you didn't belong, and what sense did you get to what maybe you start feeling like you was fitting in?
Fantastic question, because of something very specific comes to mind. I remember coming into fourth grade, and keep in mind, up until the age of 8, going on 9, I was in Israel, and I had my friends, I had my crew, we had a clubhouse, we had a tree house, we were doing our thing. And I was just, imagine it's like one of those machines, in like the arcade with the mechanical arm, the claw, it comes in, picks you up, and then
just dump you off. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I felt was happening. I was picked up from where I was comfortable, and I was dropped off into a place I had no idea existed. So, and I didn't speak the language, and I didn't know Little League, and I didn't know comics. And because in Israel, there was only one TV channel back then. So even from a cultural perspective, I was a deficit. And the academics call it negotiating identity. You're negotiating your identity. So I was negotiating my identity for a very young age. And to answer your question directly, when I got into fourth grade, I realized very quickly there's a pecking order. There's a cool kids, there's not so cool kids. And I ended up, being ostracized, obviously. So what I did is I organized a birthday party for my 9th birthday, and I invited the whole class. And then from then on, it was all smooth sailing. Obviously, I picked up the language, but that was my thing. And very early on, I was the guy bringing everybody together. And that's how I coped with belonging. I was the orchestrator. I was the unifier. And that's how I addressed my belonging issues. I created belonging. I didn't just seek it.
I like that, man. I started laughing because I just knew you were going to tell me that you found your belonging in the not so cool kid, because the way that you showed me that you threw a baseball, man, I know you didn't impress nobody with that move right there.
I was in the green room, man. What are you doing out here revealing green room dialogue?
I didn't show him how you threw it, man. I just showed him how.
I threw it like this.
Don't do that no more.
Yeah. So, for anyone listening out there, for only $1 a day, you can support my throwing career.
Hey, hustlers, I'm CJ Moneyway. And if you're building a team to grow your business, let me introduce you to ZipRecruiter. Their AI-powered platform finds the right talent fast, posting your job to over 100 job sites with just one click. I've seen how their smart matching delivers quality candidates in 24 hours. Perfect for job seekers like you, scaling brick by brick. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for an exclusive deal. That's ZipRecruiter.com/click. Hire your hustle today. Now back to the show.
Hey, so man, so you grew up, you had the gift of gab, you was quick on your feet, you thought, you're like, you know what, let me bring everybody together. So that's been your trait moving forward. So let me ask you, Dan, man, were there moments or key moments in your childhood or adolescence where you felt truly seen?
So it's a good question, because being seen is one of the feelings of belonging. A lot of places you go somewhere and you just can't show up as yourself. You and I, we vibed, I got on the call, I was able to be myself. And your energy was not like, hello, how are you? You were like, what's up? Take your load off, kick your feet up. So that made me feel comfortable. So a key to feeling comfortable in any environment is to feel welcome, and the way to do that, by the way, is to be hospitable. You were hospitable when I came on, that established my sense of belonging with you and on the show and with your listeners. So that's really important. So in order to feel seen, you have to know where you're not seen. You feel me? So basically, if you get to a place where you're like, well, this is fucked up. Like, these people, they're not acknowledging me. I'm sitting here. Nobody cares that I'm on the sidelines and so on. I call that rejection and navigation. You got to be able to reject people, but you also got to be able to accept their rejection of you. And this for me has been very obvious because, as you can probably tell, I'm a little rough around the edges. and in America, yeah, that's right. And in America, and from Israel, and Israel's like a tough place. You're surrounded by enemies and whatever, and it's hot, and it's a small country. So there's many places in American culture where I just don't fit in because I'm like this, and I'm totally fine with that. Because I say if you belong everywhere, you belong nowhere. Not everybody belongs, and that's okay. And I think society's like, everybody belongs here. Oh, we gotta, No, not everybody. And that's, by the way, let me get political real quick. That's the problem for Republicans and Democrats. Republicans are like, you don't belong, you don't belong, you don't belong. Democrats are like, we all belong. Well, shit. How about it's somewhere in the middle?
Yeah. Yeah, that's compromise somewhere. I mean,
Yes.
that's compromise somewhere down the line,
That's right.
But we already know how that is, man. So, you being from Israel and things that's going on in that nature, things going on here, man. We both like our careers right now, D, man. So we not going to get into all that. And as I've been telling people, I don't want to go to Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz, man. That ain't for the kid, man. So
CJ, you're going to have a choice because you're at alligator Alcatraz, but now Alcatraz is reopening, I hear.
Yeah. I mean,
so
they got
choose which Alcatraz do you want?
or the what is it called? Speedway Slammer. That's what they got here in Indiana.
Ooh.
Speedway Slammer. So I don't want to visit neither one of them places, man. So,
I hear you.
But we know how it is, man. So let me ask you, D, man. You said social tables was a belonging band-aid.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
What I was just talking about is like I created belonging because I didn't belong anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So my life has just been like that compounded. I was like, okay, so it started with like inviting, creating belonging in that party in 4th grade. But then it was like, okay, I created belonging in grad school and I created belonging in high school. And then I kept creating belonging. And then I was like, well, what's the ultimate way of creating belonging? Well, guess what? Starting a company. Because you can control that environment. You're playing, judge, jury, executioner. And it's a little fiefdom. And when you get to 120 employees like I did, it felt really good. And self-esteem is one of the belonging fuels. I talk about 6 different belonging fuels. One of them is self-esteem. So that's when we feel seen, or even more, we're rewarded for who we are. So there's a positive feedback loop. So I started social tables. It wasn't like, it was subconscious. I was like, oh, let me just address my belonging by starting my own company, setting my own rules. But it actually turned out to be exactly what I needed in order to find belonging, which is why when I sold my company, I was again belongingless.
Why was that? I mean, you got it. Like, why was you felt belongingless? Especially, as I think I mentioned, you sold it for a 9-figure deal. We're not going to get into your pockets like that, but 9 figures is 9 figures. So how did you feel that?
I sold for $100 million and I made a little less than 20% on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that out there. I have no problem. This is the CJ Moneyway Show. We're going to talk about money. I have no problem with that. Okay. I put it out there. And that's the funny thing though, right? Like most people, you sell your baby, your company, not literally, and then you're kind of back to square one.
Yeah.
And that's just because you've done, 5, 10, 15, 20 years of building this baby and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, my sense of belonging, because I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I spent all my time with the company. I had friends in the company. I had my self-esteem met through that company. There's on and on and on. So all that was like cut, at the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go back to square one. And square one for me was kind of refocusing and going on this journey that I wrote about in The Quest, which is why it's called The Quest.
Mm.
And it's what I did in order to refine my sense of belonging, or actually find it for the first time, because I never took an actual, methodical approach to it.
So let me ask you, man, speaking of, you saying after you sold your baby, you spent all these years building it and, you was going through different things. I know probably in the beginning it's like, hey, had a little relaxation, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I know D probably went out Florida, kicking it, whatever, and things of that nature. But let me ask you, man, what was that moment after you first sold your company that you realized I'm not okay with it?
Please note that I sold it in 18, and that was in November. And then I left in 19, November. And then we all know what happened in 2020,
COVID.
So you know what compounds belonginglessness from losing everything, your friends, your quote unquote family and so on? COVID. So what did I do? I got in my car with a couple of friends, good friends at the time. We're no longer friends, some of them. And we did a road trip, 4-month road trip across America, 15,000 miles, 18 cities in my freaking Tesla. So we had to stop in all kinds of places to charge. And we just fucking went on this road trip, great American road trip. And that was really the start of my journey to find belonging, because it made me realize, you know what? My friends are kind of like, not all of them are, they say, you're the sum of your 3 closest friends or whatever. I was like, I don't want to be like this.
Yeah.
So then I got to Boise, Idaho. I was like, well, you know what? I can live here. Like, I can do whatever I want. Why don't I just live here? And then I was like, oh crap, there's really no Jewish community. And I didn't even know I cared about that, but I do. So let me lean into my Judaism. So that was really the start, of me kind of finding what most people take for granted, CJ. Most people take for granted a big family. I don't have a big family. My parents are only children. I have no siblings. I wasn't raised with spirituality. People go to church, so I didn't have those foundations a lot of people have. So for me, it was back to square one. And it started with that road trip that got me to Idaho.
And that's pretty cool because, as you said, it's funny how life goes sometimes. Because as you said, when you started, like, some of us not friends anymore, whatever. But it was just a journey that you all took and that made you realize what you saw, you know what I'm saying, that you needed to see at that time as you was going through what you was going through to pick up the pieces and get to where you are now, man. I mean, we never know where life gonna take us, man, or why we do the things that we do. But I tell you what, D, remind me not to go on a road trip with any of my buddies across the world, man, because we may not wind up being friends. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we lasted 4 months. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is. Because I was just telling the lady at work today, because she going on a cruise. And I said, I'm like, how long you going? She said 7 days. I said, whew. I like, me and my wife and my son, we only go 4 days. And by the time we get back home, it be, okay, you go to your spot, and I go to my spot. We don't need to talk to each other till tomorrow. Everybody need their space, man.
Yeah, you got to come up for here like,
yeah,
you gotta come back for air, for sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you, man, the spiral and recovery, addiction, whether to work, substance, or behavior, often masks a deeper wound. What was the hardest truth you had to face about yourself during recovery?
So I'm very open about my addiction. I am a sex addict. And sex addict doesn't mean like, I commit adultery. It's not none of that. I think there is, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but basically, like, I think people are not having the conversation around pornography that we need to have. And so anyway, all that aside, you asked me a very important question, but I said what I just said because it relates to the answer. And your question was, what did I have to face in recovery? And the answer is the feeling of worthlessness. And the lack of self-esteem and the lack of spirituality, CJ. They say that recovery is for the spiritually anorexic. It's for people that need a program in order to like pick themselves up. And the only solution in that program is a higher power. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. Any kind of recovery, any 12-step. Mm-hmm. So all that being said, I had to come to the terms that my higher power loves me. And I have to keep reminding myself that no matter what, and that everything will be okay if I surrender to that higher power and I accept what happens. And that's what recovery is all about. I mean, so to me, it was wrestling my worthlessness and my low self-esteem, which originates from being adopted.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, since we talking and, we buddies right now. Me too, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just, sex. I didn't never think that I was a sex addict, but, just going through the motions, man, kids, children, you know what I'm saying? Different things, man, just so many pitfalls that I created for myself. As I was sitting back and I was thinking about this earlier, maybe yesterday, I was thinking about this. And so as you say, spirituality and things of that nature, I was brought to the scripture where it talks about, matter of fact, a young man at church, he preached yesterday and it kind of opened up something for me yesterday, just thinking about what he said. But it took me here, D, it say that, like fighting against the flesh, man. You know what I'm saying? That flesh is so weak and you drawn to this and that. You know what I'm saying? And then this morning I was thinking while I was at work, is because that it says that when I I no longer have control of myself. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's the sin issues that takes control of me. So I don't have no control of it. So when I'm going out here being with multiple women every night, I don't want to be alone or whatever. It's because I am put myself in the position that I can't get out of. And so as you said, it alluded to, I need some help.
That's right.
I need help.
And, and to build on that, and I'll tell you in a second why you're absolutely right about help and what's the special about fellowship with sex addiction in particular. So I always meetings, I introduce myself, say I'm a love, sex, and porn addict. And love, it was like, I love being loved. Who doesn't love to be loved? And on top of that, I need love because my self-esteem is so low. So I used to get the validation from women. Now I'm in recovery. And that's how I felt validated. And then that wasn't enough. So then it was sex and then I'm married. So it's porn. But all that compulsive behavior, and by the way, everybody's got a compulsion. Everybody's got a compulsion. Well, you don't realize, eating, vaping, pornography, 25% of the searches in the world, internet searches in the world, are pornography. We are sick. We're sick. And, you said something interesting. You talked about, fellowship around a higher power. And that's why I love recovery. It's everything I need, which is community, a process, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 12, and love. Love from my higher power, love from my fellows, love from my sponsor. Recovery is perfect for somebody like me because that's what I long for: is community, process, and love. And that fellowship really gets you that.
Yeah, it does. And like you say, and then like you said, submitting yourself. That's why right. I had to come to the grips that, sometimes we going through this thing, man, we fighting against our own selves. You know what I'm saying? Kicking
That's
against
right.
the prick, as it say. But he trying to lead you one way, but I don't want to go that way. I want to go the way that I want to go. You know what I'm saying? And so in that, I'm going to do the things or indulge in the things that's aligning in the direction that I'm going. So if I see weed, I'm smoking weed. If I see alcohol, I'm drinking alcohol. I see women, I'm having sex. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the road that I chose to go down.
Right.
You know
Which is why in recovery, we say one day at a time, right? That's why we say one day at a time. And then, then the rooms, you say 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, every time. And then the key is what I've learned, and I'm working on this every day, but the key is what they call in AA, they call think through the drink. Or in other recovery, they say, play the tape forward. What does that mean? That means if you do that, what's going to happen? If you pick up that bottle, what's going to happen? If you do that, and that's the compulsion piece, right? It's like, I get compulsion. And only when you realize that you can't stop it and you need a spiritual intervention, you don't have to walk out into everything, swear to Jesus Christ. I mean, you can swear to whoever you want. In fact, there are many atheists in recovery. But as long as you believe that a higher, and we say it in recovery, we came to believe only a power greater than ourselves can lead us. That's what recovery is all about.
I like it, man. I like it. And I add this. When we first talked, man, what did I say I was from?
Well, first you said LA.
No, I did not. I say I'm an LA fan. I say I'm a big LA Lakers fan.
I mean, you're in Indy right now.
Gary, Indiana, Michael Jackson. You said something. And we both had a connection with that. And so what I was saying was Michael Jackson, a lot of times what it's hard for is to look at the man in the mirror.
In the mirror.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Once you look at that man in the mirror. I guess you wouldn't know sing either, huh, D?
Oh, man. No. I don't sing.
He don't throw a baseball. He don't sing. We didn't talk about his hoop career. We didn't even go there. So we just gonna leave it as is. So let me ask you, D, man, the quest and belonging.
Well, I gotta tell you one thing. About that.
Go ahead.
I try to play drums, and my drum teacher said to me, he said, I've never met a worse student than you. That's how bad I was at drum. I just don't have, I have some gifts and I lack many others. So anyway.
Man, this was a divine caller today, man, because you funny as I don't know what. I was just talking to somebody the other day about band. I said, yeah, because when I was in the band, me and my wife went to go see Big Daddy Kane the other day.
Okay, yeah, of course.
At the winery in Chicago. We went to go see
still around?
Big Daddy Kane. Yeah. He's doing his thing. And he had an all-white band. And man, they were jamming. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I mean, they was jamming. So,
So you're saying white people have rhythm too?
yeah, them boys was bad. You know, we went to go see Nas in Vegas last month, and you know they got an orchestra. You know, like he started off with an orchestra playing and everything, and man, that was tight too. You know, that was tight. It gave me a new look on people in that industry. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But I was telling my wife when I was in band. My band teacher, 8th grade, Mr. Phillips, said I was the worst too because he tried to get me to play the trombone. Man, I couldn't read no music to, you know what I'm saying, to save my life, dude. You know, that was not my thing. You know, you get me on the table, this and that, but trying to play some instrument, nah, man, I wasn't like American Pie. Remember when we went to band camp?
Yeah.
that was band camp. That was not the kid, man. It wasn't me. So
you didn't play any instrument?
No instrument.
Okay.
As I got older, I had no rhythm. I used to be Michael Jackson when I was younger, doing dances and doing them for Christmas and parties and everything. That was my thing. But I grew up, I'm just a two-stepper. You know,
I'm a one-stepper.
Side to side, you know, that's me, D. So,
dude, like, you know, when like a concert, people clap their hands. I always have to look around. I'm like, okay. I can't even clap my hands.
I hope you didn't do it just the way that you just did it right now, man. Just like pitching D, man, do not ever do that again in my Chris Tucker voice.
Dude, I am like canceling myself as we speak.
Hey, man. So let me ask you, D, man, the quest and belonging. You built your book around a framework for belonging, as we've been talking about. What was the first step you took personally that actually made a difference?
You know, the first thing I did was read the research about happiness. Mm-hmm. And what I learned through that research is that generally speaking, 50% of your happiness is predetermined by your genetic set point. So that means that 50% is already completely up to God. And then 40%, I learned, comes from your from your voluntary activities. You know, what you do. You do this, that, the other. And 10% comes from your circumstances, family you're born into, neighborhood you're in, and so on and so forth. So then I was like, okay, well, 50% I can't change. 10% I can sort of change. I can move, I can change jobs, whatever. But 40% is really up to me. I can do anything I want in order to get, and that's what I think a lot of people kind of like don't really think about. And I can explain why if we want to, but basically they don't think about how they can control the amount of happiness or the amount of joy they have in their life. And so that's the first step for me is like, how do I find more joy? And then I realized, oh shit, it's the things that I do. And then the question was, well, what should I do? Mm-hmm. That is the process. That's how I got to that. And I read in the book, The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt. And he talks about this, what I just suggested, this pie chart, if you will. And I was like, okay, well, I just got to do things that I like more. And that's where the belonging tank comes in. That 40% is what that tank looks like. That's what the belonging tank that I talked about is good in that 40%. So I get my belonging through spending time with my daughter. I get my belonging through meditating. I get my belonging through hosting a podcast, whatever. So, or even music shows that we talked about a lot are a pathway to belonging because you're part of a crowd, and being a part of the crowd is a way to belong. So anyway, and actually research shows that people still they have higher morals, so to speak, after an event because they were a collective. So there's many, many different things I can point to that help people find belonging. For me, it was figuring out what should I actually do to feel it.
I like that, man. All right, speaking of that, let me ask you this question real quick, D. How can someone tell the difference between fitting in and belonging?
So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, belonging is the act of fitting in. I think belonging is a little more because belonging requires two people. I can fit in. I can be like, oh, I fit in here. Mm-hmm. But how do you know you fit in here?
Yeah.
You know, the answer, by the way, is you're validated by the environment to tell you that you fit in. So belonging is both an experience and a feeling. I feel like I belong, and I'm getting signals that I belong. Mm-hmm. So for example, you make me feel like I belong on this podcast because you're asking questions, we're making jokes, we even make fun of each other. That's how men bond. That's how men bond.
Yeah.
We make fun of each other. Women don't do that. They're not like, you look fat. They would never say, say that. But guys would be like, oh shit, you put on weight, dude?
Right? Yeah, you growing something, man. You hit that weight room.
That's right, exactly. So, you may feel like I belong. So I don't just know that I fit in. I know through our dialogue that I belong on your podcast. So again, the difference is that fitting in is like a perception, while belonging is a perception and an experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's validated, and it's kind of like a snowball. It like gets better and better, and as you belong more, you contribute more to what you're a part of.
Mm.
So then your belonging is intensified because you have more of a stake in it.
Hey, CJ Moneyway Show fans. Coming up, I'm spilling the secret to hiring top talent with ZipRecruiter. AI that works as hard as you do. Stick around for details at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for a free trial. Let's get to it. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for an exclusive deal. That's ZipRecruiter.com/click. Hire your hustle today. Now back to the show.
I like that too. And like you say, people value you more because a lot of times we trying to fit in somewhere where we know we don't fit. That's just right. Like you said earlier, you rode on the road trip with your friends and you say, you know what? I'm getting a sense I don't want to do some of the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? My values are different, and so sometimes that's the same way with trying to fit in. Like my values different than y'all, but these the cool kids though. So I want to fit in over here with them, but I don't actually belong here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was asking.
So I have a term for that. There's three kinds of like what I call fake belonging. Mm-hmm. One of them is, three of them are nostalgic belonging. You do it because it used to give you belonging. It doesn't give you any more. There's misconceived belonging, where you think there is belonging and it's actually not belonging. Mm. But that's about kind of like belonging. I'm actually going to look this up because I always forget. Give me 1 second.
It's all good, man. Yeah, so that's why I was asking, because I know that there's different types, that you feel a different way. You see it all the time. That's just how society is, Like we was talking earlier about political stuff. Some of these people don't believe some of the stuff that they doing, you know what I'm saying? But they feel like they belong somewhere,
and So they do it because it was handed down by a parents or a relative or friends or whatever. They do it because they used to make them feel good and it doesn't anymore. Or they do it because they think it gives it to them and it doesn't. So again, how many times, to the listeners, right? How many times have you went to something just because we used to go to the same thing? Mm-hmm. Like how many times have you like done something because you never question why you're doing it? It's just what we do. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's really important to have this belonging mindset and thinking, does it give me a sense of belonging? Is this filling my tank or is it sucking energy out of my tank? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things we do suck out the energy. And the reality is, CJ, is that it doesn't require a lot of changes. Mm-hmm. It just requires just some critical thinking.
I like that, man. I like it. So, because we can go on and on about that, because you got me over here thinking, because this is a serious conversation, because these are things that's going on in society right now. You know what I'm saying? Do you belong where you're at? I think about it like that. So let me ask you, man, me and that connection, as you were talking about, how men, we can joke on each other, dump on each other, you know what I'm saying, and keep it moving. You know what men can do too that women can't do a lot?
What's that?
We can have all out disagreement. Agree to disagree. We going head to head, toe to toe. I want to fight you. You want to fight me. But we give it a couple of days or whatever, and we come back as if nothing ever happened, because men can hug it out, shake it out, and we can keep it moving. Women can't do that.
That's so true.
Well, some men can do that. You know what I'm saying? Real men can do that.
Like the shit I've been through with my closest friends, it's like, it's like, you're a fucking idiot. No, you're a fucking idiot. Okay. How are you doing?
Yeah. You get over stuff.
Am I cursing too much? Are we going to bleep out? Okay.
They gonna beep you. It's gonna go beep, 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 beep. But I don't try to control what somebody else do. I can only control me. But hey, we buddies. Because I ain't saying that I got a virgin mouth. I'm not gonna sit here and say I got a virgin mouth. But I have to keep up my persona, dude.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty unpolished.
You polished enough, man. So let me ask you, man. I only got a couple more questions for you, D, man. But
please, I got all day.
Oh, man, I don't. I got to go back to work tonight. You know what I'm saying? I got to do a double, man. I just got off today, so I got to catch me a little nappy nap real quick. But let me ask you, D, man. I got 2 more questions for you, but I do have this quick fire round. Okay? It's been real popular on the CJ Moneyway Show with the guests and the fans. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't get intimidated, man. You from the Bronx, and so I know that, like we say, you got that boogie down production, KRS-One. So
KRS-One.
Let me ask you.
You don't stop. Yes, y'all. That's what again, my music. I'm just trying to show you that I'm down. Most people will not know that.
Hey, D, man, remind me, man, if I come to New York City, man, and we come kick it, we will not go to a concert, man. We can go to we go to basketball game, man. We ain't gonna go to no concert, bro.
Dude, seriously though, I am showing you my unbelievable knowledge.
You got
early, okay? Most people, 9 out of 10 people, they don't know who KRS-One is.
No, they don't. But you better know who KRS-One is. You on the home turf, man. So, you don't have no excuse.
Yes, y'all.
And you are what you call yourself, you're the bring together. You bring everybody together. So you had to bring them together on some stuff that everybody can relate to. So,
ironically, CJ, when I sing, I don't bring people together.
They
run away.
I can second that motion because you tried to sing and you tried to rap, and both of them is I know you know what the Apollo is, right?
Of course, I used to watch the show every Saturday. Hey, my first job was working for Charlie Rangel, who represented the Harlem in the Congress. I worked for him for 4 years.
For real?
Yes, Mr. Rangel. I went to his funeral a month ago. Mr. Rangel and I he was like one of my first mentors.
Well, I'm sorry that, what happened to him, but the Apollo.
The Sandman will come out. Sandman will come out with a chair.
Exactly. I'm glad I had to finish that for you. Long as you know.
Again, I want to show you that I know. And even though I used to love the Apollo, I love that show.
Oh man. You know what? We just gonna go to a Yankees game, man. We'll be like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence in the movie Life, man. We'll just go to the game and watch the game at the end, man.
I would love it if they brought Def Comedy Jam though back.
Oh, that would be hot, wouldn't it? But who's a young up and coming star that can be Martin? Martin was Martin, man. That's not get that twisted. Martin Lawrence was one of a kind.
Martin was so Martin. He had a show named Martin.
Hey, I like that. Martin was so Martin. He had a show called Martin. And I watch it every day when I'm trying to go to sleep. Like when I go to bed, I cut it on because I've watched every episode so much. It's something that I can fall asleep on, opposed to something that I'm just watching. And so I'm like 10-1, stay up. But Martin, I love Martin. I quote Martin all the time.
You know what the white version of Martin is?
Ooh, not the one that was on the show.
Seinfeld is Seinfeld.
I never really watched Seinfeld. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I never
put on
really
Martin,
watched Seinfeld.
I put on Seinfeld.
Yeah. I've watched some of Seinfeld, but not all of it though. So ain't he from New York too somewhere? Isn't that Seinfeld in New York? Okay. I know Seinfeld, but I watched some of it, but
No, my point is that it's also about like one person, and the show's name is also that person's name.
Seinfeld. Yeah.
Like Martin and Seinfeld, and they're both the real names.
Yeah.
And and one represents black culture, the other one represents like white culture. So I think it's just an interesting, and it was right around the same time. So I just think that's the only thing I thought about is that.
Yeah. And I like the way you brought that up because that means when you got a show named after you, you are somebody. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you somebody.
Like the CJ Moneyway Show.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? They somebody. I'm just a nobody trying to be a somebody, trying to tell somebody. So let me ask you, D, man.
Talk to me.
today and your next chapter. What does belonging look like for you right now as a husband, father, and leader?
Okay. So when I was running social tables, I always put what I call professional belonging before personal belonging. I put my work first. I put my work friends first. I was getting all my belonging needs met through my work. When I sold, it was all gone. And as we talked about, I had no personal foundation of belonging, no spirituality, no girlfriend, no family. And then I lost my friends a little bit, some of them during the road trip. So the difference today than what it was back then is I have personal belonging and I have a foundation. I know what happened, no matter what happens to me professionally, personally, I have my sense of belonging. My daughter, I'm a new dad. She's 9 months old. My wife and I tried for 3 years to have her. So it's a real gift. We've been through so much. You know, my wife did 12 fertility treatments to get there. It was hell. So I have a ton of love for her, and that's belonging, you know, right there is that biological belonging, which as an adoptee, I didn't have it. So I can end that cycle. I can continue my biology. So that's first and foremost professionally. My Judaism and my Israeli identity, my Israeli American identity, my Jewish identity is there more than it ever was. So, you know, that's a big piece of it. Again, personal belonging. And I have a really strong group of friends from different places. I run a men's group with 27 men that meets monthly. So I have that. I have a couple of peer advisory groups. So I have all the components for personal belonging, which is something I never had prior. And that's the difference. So the difference is back in the day, I put professional before I put personal. Now I put personal before I do professional. And that is what flipped in my head and why I can do belonging much better now.
I like that. And I'm not going to add on or take away from that. All I'm going to say is that is the core of this show, building brick by brick. Because it ain't easy doing something like that. I already know. So, last question, man. I'm going to ask you on this.
Let's go.
Tell us about Assemble Hospitality Group and why retreats are such a powerful tool for team belonging.
So I don't know who wrote your questions, but they're all really good. They're amazing questions. Like I'm not patronizing. I think they're very, very good. And so you did a great job preparing for this. I mean that. So let's kind of go back to this thesis that I have. And the thesis that I have is that people need to get back together. Forget COVID, that's set us apart. Now we don't even know what's real anymore. You know, half the shit that you read online, the content is probably AI generated. Videos are starting to be AI generated. I mean, we don't have a safety and trust system in society. For now, the president, there can be an AI of the president saying he's declaring war, and that can be completely fake, and that can move markets, that can move, you know, nations. And then, so my point is, a lot of things happen virtually that we don't believe or we need to question. So what's left is in person, and in person needs to come back. And I think it is coming back in a big way. And to me, there is such magic when you get a team together to do something special, whether it's a wellness retreat, whether it's a strategic offsite, whether it's a mastermind, whatever it is. And to create that sense of belonging on a team is what we need to do for each other and for our sanity. So my thesis is that we need more places to get together, and Airbnbs aren't good enough because there are like homes and hotels are cookie cutter. So I'm creating a new brand called Assemble of retreat facilities for teams to come together and do their thing. And that can be for one night. It can be for multiple nights, and they can do whatever they want. We'll book whatever experiences they want. And they come in a very intentional way in a sacred space that makes them feel like they belong to the team.
I like that, man. So on that note, Dan, man, tell us, where can we find all of this amazing stuff, man, that you're doing? Where can we find you on social media? Where can we find your book? Where can we, look for you for this assembly thing? Because that sounds very interesting, man.
So everybody can go on belongingquest.com/quiz and take literally a 10-second quiz to find out their belonging persona. And as soon as you take that quiz, I tell you what to do to find your sense of belonging based on who you are. There's 4 personas: chimp, meerkat, snow leopard, wolf. Each one has distinct belonging personality. You can go on the website right now, find your personality. It'll tell you what belonging fuels work best for you based on who you are. So that's like very simple. And there's free chapters to download. All that information is free. No problem. But as far as I'm concerned, if people want to like get in touch with me or whatever, you can do that on Dan Berger on any of the socials, DanBerger. And that's me on the socials. I mean, it'd be silly to enumerate all the other websites, but just look me up and you'll find everything.
He like Seinfeld and Martin, y'all. He say, just Google my name. You'll find me. I ain't hard to find. My name is Dan Berger.
No.
And I'm going to pop up everywhere. Hey, go ahead, D-Man. You ain't got it. It's cool.
No. That's not true. That's not true. There's a bunch of impersonators out there. There's a wine critic. There is a comic. There is like this woke ass social justice professor. There is all this. Yeah. Dan J. Berger is how you find me when you Google me.
Got you. I had that in there too. Dan J. Berger. But then I say, okay, I wrote it down. I got you.
Except no imitations.
No MOs. Hey, so like we were talking in the green room, we can't say that. No MOs, what we was talking about earlier. You got to rhyme it. You know what I'm saying? You got to spit some bars, D. You got to spit some bars.
Right.
Hey, so D-Man, you ready for this quick fire round, man?
Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right, man. Don't get nervous on me. First thing you do in the morning.
Check my phone.
That's just me too.
But for a long time, the first thing I do is put on my Star of David, and I say the prayer, Modeh ani lefanecha melechai v'kayam, she'achzarta bi nishmati v'chamala rabba emunatcha. That means, thank you, dear God, for putting my soul back in my body. And that's the first prayer I say. So I put on this necklace and I say that prayer, but then I check my phone.
I like that. First thing I say, thank you, Lord, for letting me see another day. So I'm with you on that 100%. Book you've gifted most.
Yes, I've gifted most of my books.
Which one have you gifted the most? Which book have you gifted the most out of
my own. Let me tell you the second one. Second one is the book called Predictable Success by Les McEwen. It's the best business book in my opinion.
Best business book. What's the name again?
Predictable Success.
Predictable Success. Okay. One word your closest friend will use to describe you.
Generous.
One place you feel most at home.
Right here, where I'm sitting in Boise, Idaho, at my home.
Best decision you made in the past year.
To enter recovery and start treating my mental health illness.
There you have it from my man D. Hey D, man, before we get out of here, you got one last nugget, man, to share with us before we get out of here?
No, I'm grateful for your time. I'm grateful for your listeners for putting up with my singing, my clapping, my throwing. It's been terrible, and I'm surprised they're still tuned in. It's probably because of you and not because of me.
Well, we know one thing. We're not going to no concert. Matter of fact, man, I wonder if they just picked you out the crowd to throw the first pitch of the game or something. It's just one of them random things. They pick you to go out there, and I'm sitting there with you, man. That'd be embarrassing. Who was that? 50 Cent? 50 Cent that went out there and threw that ball like that?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Come on, man. No, we can't have no 50 Cent moment. 50. I'm just playing, man. Don't be trolling me on Instagram and all that. I'm just joking, bro. I don't want no smoke with it.
I wonder if I got picked to do that, I would get
kids.
I'll get hot dogs thrown at me and fucking beer.
That's what I'm saying, man. If I go to the game with you and that happen, man, you know,
you're gonna be like this. You're like this.
Yeah, we're going to have to find something different, man. Maybe we're going to have to find a library, man, and go read some books or something. You know what I'm saying? Or give some book, do book signing or something, man. Who knows?
Dude. No.
Hey, Dan, man.
They'll throw me out of the library. I talk too much. They'll throw me out of the library.
You don't talk too much. Maybe they might get you for your potty mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's what it'll be.
You know what? Real talk, they'll probably get me for my Star of David because we're experiencing so much anti-Semitism, unfortunately. So God forbid it. But that's unfortunately, this symbol has become less of a symbol of pride and more of a symbol of shame for so many of us. So God willing, that will change.
Hey, represent what you represent, bro.
That's
hey,
right.
So yeah, man, I thank you for being so open and vulnerable today, man. Like what you just talking about with your chain and your Star, David. You know what I'm saying? That's being open. That's being honest and transparent, man. So I appreciate you bringing that authenticity to the show today, man. Your story isn't just about building a successful business. It's about building a life that feels whole, connected, and true. For those listening, you can grab a copy of The Quest and learn more about Dan's work at Dan CJberger.com. Whether you're battling loneliness, trying to build a stronger team, or just looking for a deeper sense of connection in life, this is a conversation worth revisiting. Dan, you're giving us more than just insight. You're giving us permission to seek real belonging, and that might be the most valuable thing of all. Until next time, this your boy CJ Moneyway with my man DJ Berger from the Bronx. We out of here. Peace.
Thank you.
Ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/work. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.